I've got loads of spare, mate. Just lend you them.
Yeah, but even if I did, like, it's... Oh, shit, I'm strangling myself. Even if I did, it's like...
Yes, live on the podcast. James dies. Hello everyone, welcome to the Spacemen From Pluto Podcast. We are joined here today for the first podcast ever by Kristian.
Hello.
By Ben.
Hello, everyone.
And by James.
Hello.
And of course me as well, Dan. We are the Spacemen from Pluto. Amazing. We're going to be talking about films, really, aren't we, guys? I think that's the general idea
It's
of
a niche
what we're all
topic.
doing
It's
here.
not
Yeah, we thought there's a massive gap in the
Yeah.
market for four white guys talking about films,
Yeah.
so let's fill that gap.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, and here we are to save the day. So, first off, I think, nice and simple, we're just going to have a quick discussion about what we've been watching this week, aren't we?
Easy.
So, I'll throw to you first, Kristian, because I believe you've been watching something.
I have.
It's partially, yeah,
You're being coy.
partially secret, been very secretive about it.
Yeah. There's a reason, because this is big news. We all work at a cinema. We've all seen the posters. Some of us might have seen the trailers, but it recently ended up as a Netflix original. So I watched the third SpongeBob.
Oh.
film.
Oh, is this Sponge Out of Water?
No, Sponge Out of Water is the second one. Sponge on the
Oh my
Run
God.
is the
What's
third
this
one.
one?
What a trilogy.
I've completely
We've
forgotten.
gone straight in there. We've
Yeah.
gone straight in there with the credible
Yeah.
film
Yeah.
analysis.
Straight in. Art. Yeah.
The SpongeBob movie.
I was incredibly bored.
Oh, that's
No.
disappointing.
Oh,
As you could probably tell. No.
Really?
Like, I was incredibly bored, so I decided to watch the
Oh,
SpongeBob
right.
film. That was
You implied bored.
no. Yeah, sorry. No, the actual film was, well, number one, the animation took a while to get used to. It's kind of upsetting.
Oh dear, why? Was it not the traditional SpongeBob animation?
No, it's like part 3D animation. They tried it a couple years with like Scooby-Doo films where they made them that weird mishmash of 3D rendering with cartoon drawing, and it looks very unusual. Another initial sour point was the writing seemed weird. It was written by someone who clearly didn't write for SpongeBob normally. Nostalgia. I hold a lot of SpongeBob quotes and sort of mannerisms in my head, and I was watching it and I was like, something just seems a little bit off.
It's like Diet SpongeBob.
Yeah, I was like, this is like SpongeBob, but for someone who's never seen SpongeBob.
Right. What? Okay.
So the film got into it, and I started to enjoy it a bit more because it just has utterly bizarre pacing. Like, nothing feels paced properly. It goes 0 to 100, back to 0, then to 100 again. Then, like, nothing is in any sort of usual film order. There's not even a climax in the film. It just happens and everything
What's
ends.
this one about? Like, I can only think of the Antonio Banderas one, but that's not this one, is it?
This one leans back towards the sort of original SpongeBob movie that we all sort of remember, Hasselhoff showing up, all of the musical sequences. So basically the story is Plankton, once again, trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula,
Classic.
as per usual. But realizes that it's not Mr. Krabs that's his problem, it's SpongeBob. So he devises a plan to get rid of SpongeBob. Basically, it revolves around King Neptune again. It's Poseidon this time, who is basically King
It's totally
Neptune.
original, mate. Something completely new that we've never seen before.
But he doesn't have a beard this time, and he has long hair. And he's played by Matt Berry.
What? Oh my god!
He opened his mouth, and I was like, That's Matt Berry. That's Douglas Renham from the IT crowd. in a SpongeBob movie.
Oh my god. I'm so weird.
So that was a bizarre introduction sequence to that character. But basically, his entire plot arc is he uses snail slime to keep himself looking young, and he freaks out over one tiny crow's foot wrinkle. And he's dried up all of the snails in the area, so he needs a new snail. So Plankton steals Gary and gives him to Poseidon, and SpongeBob has to go to the lost city of Atlantic City to get Gary back with the help of the Sage, who is a tumbleweed with Keanu Reeves' head in.
Amazing.
What? Okay.
Can I admit something?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god, has Danny seen this film as well?
Yeah. Actually, the exact opposite. I've never seen an episode of SpongeBob in my life,
Oh my
or watched any of the films.
Oh my days.
I don't
Wow.
care about SpongeBob because I'm an adult. No, I'm sorry. I've gone too far. I've gone too far. I've gone too far. I'm sorry. I take it back. I take it back. No. I'm just joking. No, but like I think I missed the boat with SpongeBob because
A little nautical pun
I'd say
there.
a little bit older than you guys. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, totally intentional. Yeah, from what I'm getting though, SpongeBob's kind of had its day, and it's come back in this obscure kind of not very well written new form.
Unfortunately, last year the SpongeBob creator and showrunner passed away.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
Since the creative rights have fallen to Nickelodeon themselves,
I see.
and the executives seem to have gone a little bit wild, and apparently they're planning like 2 spin-off shows and a bunch of other weird SpongeBob add-ons that don't need to be there.
I see.
And it's like, this film kind of shows it. I am gonna sort of spoil it for you. Snoop Dogg shows up as himself.
Incredible.
And does a full rap partway through. The soundtrack is done by Weezer.
What is
because
going
kids
Yeah,
love
why not?
Weezer.
Yeah. Beverly Hills.
They do a lot of
They
kids
love
stuff at
it.
the moment. They did didn't they do a song in Frozen 2 as well?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Strange.
Yes.
they did.
They did a cover for
Hmm.
it, yeah.
Well, SpongeBob, interesting. Yeah.
Oh, Danny Trejo turns up as well.
Ah, Machete.
Worth
Yeah,
it. Worth
so-
watching then, isn't it?
It honestly, I can't explain to you how unusual that film was, and the reason that I haven't rated it yet, and you don't know that I've watched it, is because I couldn't figure out what to give it. I couldn't figure out whether I enjoyed it or not.
Is it a long film? It can't be long.
It sounds like real art.
No, it's like an hour and 20, an hour and a half
Yeah.
maybe.
Right. Cool. SpongeBob.
Very strange.
But yeah,
I'm glad you told us
SpongeBob.
though.
Well,
The mystery is solved.
let's move on to James anyway, because we want to find out what he's been watching.
However, I've been watching something much more adult, much more mature, and aimed far more, grown-ups. I finally got around to finishing Star Wars Rebels. Finally finished that one off.
For the love of God, I quit. Sorry, guys.
Oh, mate, we're children. We're all children.
Host
here.
your
Yeah,
own podcast.
I'll bring it back up. I'll bring it back up, Danny. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's
Really?
good, mate. So
Really?
it's
Are you
basically,
sure?
I've been slogging my way through Rebels for a while because it's okay. Like, it's not bad by any means, but it didn't grip me the same way that other Star Wars stuff has. It didn't grip me the same way that Clone Wars did. But it's got some nice mythology in there. It's got some nice connections to the wider universe, and then particularly now with The Mandalorian season 2 coming out, there's a lot of characters that have been in Rebels rocking up in The Mandalorian. So I wanted to just finish Rebels so that I don't get any spoilers for it through Mandalorian. And you know what? As a show as a whole, it's all right. It's fine. The finale's pretty good. It does the whole classic of like, this is one final last stand, so we're getting all the characters through all the seasons that you've ever known and loved. Like, they all rock up for one final fight. And yeah, it's okay. Like, there's a few issues I've got with the finale, just stuff that I don't know if it particularly makes sense. It feels like it happens because the writers need it to happen rather than it happens because it's what would happen in that world. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a nice little round off. They do some stuff in the last season that I didn't expect, but I liked.
Mhm.
So yeah, like, this is the problem. Like, I wish I could come in being like, either it was awful because of all these reasons, or it's great because of these. But the whole show is just a bit. It's all right. It's a bit flat and it's fine. There's not a lot to say.
Is it generally seen that the Clone Wars is a better series to kind of,
like
if you wanted to go
superior,
into that,
I'd
right?
say, yeah,
vastly superior. You'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
interesting.
My understanding is the Clone Wars sort of started as kid friendly and then started to cater to the older adult audience.
A little bit, yeah.
Further on in the show,
see, right.
Rebels kind of has a simpler art style and is a lot more is more sort of aimed at like early teens, maybe sort of older kids. And then they've just started a new one called Star Wars Resistance. And from the trailer for that looks like it's very much aimed at young children, getting them into Star Wars.
This is the thing I noticed with Rebels. It's like, because it's aimed at kids, and now the rebels are fighting the Empire, and the Empire are people, they're not just robots. They very rarely like straight up cut anyone with a lightsaber. They very rare. It's always deflecting and like force pushing, and like they knock people out, but they rarely straight up kill anyone. Which is, so it's just once you notice that, you're like, yeah, this is aimed at children, not me. So maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just a thing of like the show wasn't for me. But
well, the thing is,
I would argue a lot of Star Wars content has that kids aim, but everyone can enjoy it.
It does, yeah, it does. But one thing that, like, because I think, moving on to what I've been watching, I think because I was going to mention The Mandalorian, and I have been watching The Mandalorian, as we all have been watching The Mandalorian, I suspect. And yeah, I really get the impression that if you have watched the Clone Wars and Rebels to some extent, that there's a lot more I don't know, satisfaction from certain characters and scenes and things, because obviously I think we can spoil this. I imagine everyone who's listening to this has seen The Mandalorian. A character from the Clone Wars who's a pretty big deal has now appeared in The Mandalorian, right? And I find that really interesting that they're starting to basically embrace the Clone Wars and bring those characters from, you might say it's made more with children in mind, but as you've said, towards the end it's more for adults, and now they've obviously kind of embraced that idea and they're bringing those characters on board. But yeah, so I've been watching the Mandalorian. Are we liking it so far? Are we enjoying it?
I think it's really good.
Yeah,
like,
it's good fun, man.
It's just solid TV.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's a bit kind of like not very dense. It's kind of like, you know, we'll do a little bit of this kind of slow 20 minutes, you know, little pieces of this, moving to that, and it's like at times it's scary of being a bit of like a Star Wars fan film. That first episode, while enjoyable, it's kind of like, oh, we'll do this, then we'll throw that in, and we'll do this, then we're gonna chuck in Boba Fett and all that and that. It's like, okay, just like chill out a bit. But yeah, it's good fun, and it's like I enjoy incorporating the characters from other shows, even though it's a tiny bit. It's a bit of a they've got to find a little balance, haven't they, of like incorporating, you know, for people who've never seen any of it. They can't just abandon those fans. They've got to try and reintroduce those characters again for newcomers. But then it's also fun because, yeah, for people like us who've seen the shows, you know, we get the full richness, and you feel like all those hours watching the Clone Wars has been worth it, because you see them now. It feels like it wasn't a total waste of time. Or for James watching Rebels, it wasn't a total waste of time because people like
it's been worth it now.
Other characters might.
You think the show itself would make it worth its time, but no, it's just preparation for a different show.
Yeah, kind of almost seems like, yeah.
That's all Star Wars is. It's, you know, it's you watch one thing to prepare for the next.
Okay.
Yeah. Enough about the Mandalorian.
Wow. Listen, I know that was rambling there, but you know.
Let's talk about film. I watched a film.
What film did you watch, Benjamin?
I watched a film that won Oscars. That maybe it should not have won Oscars. Because it was kind of just okay. I watched a film called As Good As It Gets.
Well, let's hope it's not as good as it
Ben,
gets.
I watched that the other day as well.
No! Are we living together? What's going on?
Because it's just gone onto Netflix, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's why I watched it.
Yeah. What did you think? Go on. Take it away.
Well, I for background, I watched it because it's the film that Jack Nicholson won his third Oscar for. And at the time, until I think Day-Lewis equaled it recently in the last few years. So he was like the most Oscar wins for an actor, male actor. And so I watched it and I thought, great, it's got Nicholson. The poster, I don't know about anyone's thought about this, throughout your whole childhood, posters in DVD shops that you've seen your entire life that you've never seen them. This is one of them, because it's Nicholson holding the dog like this. That's going to look inappropriate. And he's holding the dog, and I thought, oh yeah, Nicholson, Oscars, a dog, I'll watch it. Greg Kinnear, great. So James and Kristian, it's like about a slice of life about people, bit of a rom-com. Traditionally, they're about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. This was 2.5 hours. I don't know about you, Danny. I got to the 2 hour mark and I was like, okay, that's kind of.
Yeah.
I've kind of had enough.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine, Danny.
Yeah.
Dan, I thought it was absolutely fine. I don't know why both Nicholson and I think Helen Hunt is the female lead
That's
won
right.
their Oscars for male lead and female lead. I don't quite know why. I think it's a bit more political that like they gave Nicholson the third one to give him a third one, and it was like the end of his run because he was in his 60s, I think, at this point.
Do you?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Do you
Go
know
on,
what other
Kristian.
films it went up again?
Yeah, it might just be a weak year.
I don't know, but it was a strong category. He's up against like Peter Fonda, Dustin Hoffman, Duvall, so he had strong contenders. And they were all his mates as well. I watched his speech. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're all mates. Fonda's my old biking buddy," and I was like, "Okay, okay." You're all patting each other on the back, aren't you? So,
I mean, I thought it was okay as well. Like, I went into it with, I don't know why I watched it. I just saw it and thought, it's there, I'll watch it. You know, I'm not doing anything else at the moment. Why don't I just watch this obscure rom-com? Well, it wasn't obscure, obviously, but to me, it's relatively obscure. I just thought, yeah, I'll give it a watch. Jack Nicholson, you know, you can't really go wrong with him. But like, I don't know, it was definitely dated in some ways, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree? I mean,
Oh, you'd agree
I
if it
think
wasn't Frozen.
oh, for God's sake!
Look, he looks really happy though.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
I thought he was just
3, 2,
waiting.
1.
He was just-
You're
I'm
back in the
so
room.
sorry.
Alright.
I don't know what happened there. I just had a meltdown. I'm so sorry.
It turns out it wasn't actually Frozen at all. It was just him.
Danny
in
was
his
talking.
room.
Went, I thought it was real, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
I'll do it again.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
so
It's
sorry.
fine. You can leave that in.
No, it would just be a weird little blip. It's a mid podcast bleep, Danny. We keep going.
Yeah,
we keep going.
fine.
It's
Okay,
live
let's press
television.
on.
It's
Let's
live
press on.
I don't know
television.
what you're on about, Danny. We don't cut anything out of this.
But
It's
to wrap it
all
up quick-
exactly as the audience
Oh,
sees it.
no.
That's exactly how it
Yeah.
happens.
Exactly.
It's happened
Did I
again.
even imply anything different to that? I mean, God.
He's gone again. He's
Oh,
gone
for
again.
God's sake,
We
Ben.
don't cut anything. It's fine. It's
Am I
fine.
back?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so
Again.
sorry.
Are you
Am I
here?
back
Are you
in?
there? Are you there?
Yeah, you're
Did
back.
All right. I'll try and keep going. I thought, Danny, the film was about from the poster. So Jack Nicholson, the film, guys, he's like a total arse. I think he definitely has some like ADHD or some undiagnosed.
He has OCD, doesn't he? But
OCD,
it's the film version of OCD where he has to not
can
step
just-
on cracks
yeah.
in the pavement, and he's very clean and all
and he
that
just
kind
like
of
gets over it.
stuff. Yeah. No, well, he
Um,
starts taking pills, doesn't he? Because
they feel
because that's what
Because he loves her. Because he likes the girl.
Yeah,
Oh.
the compliment that he pays Helen Hunt, she asks him for a compliment,
Yes.
and he discusses that like for all these many years he's had this like affliction, and he referred to his OCD, and he's never liked pills because he's just not that kind of guy, but Helen Hunt is just so beautiful and majestic that he's going to start taking pills for her. So it's kind of a little bit strange in that way. And also,
Right.
So from
Jack Nicholson is like at least 25 years older than Helen Hunt in this
30.
film.
I checked. He's like 30 years older than her.
Oh.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just a bit strange. Like Jack Nicholson is also like the character as he is scripted.
He's
would
an
not
arse.
He's an arse. Yeah, it would not play well
Jack
today
Prickelson.
at all.
It, like,
Nicholson.
because I thought
think
I thought the film was going to be about Jack Nicholson stops being a bad person because he hangs out with a dog, and it's the dog that makes him better. And I was really into that idea. And at the same time, the owner of the dog is Greg Kinnear, who's in the film, is gay, and I thought he'd be more accepting of gay people as well because he's not really in the film. I thought that was the plot, and that was quite original and quite new. And I was like, I've not seen Jack Nicholson become better because of a dog. That's very relatable because dogs are great. And it's just this generic rom-com in the end, anyway.
Would you say that he's Jack Nicholson's son of a bitch?
That was not worth me.
Right.
That's the discussion ended.
Yeah, I was going to say
my
that's not
contribution.
worth
That's
it.
all discussion.
Just move on.
Every
That's enough.
discussion.
You are welcome.
Right. Let's go into this.
Yeah, let's put that behind us quickly as we can and move on to the next section of the podcast. So basically, this section we're going to be discussing every week something slightly different that's based around a bit of a theme. So this week, because I'm sure many of you will have noticed this, we are in our second lockdown now. So we kind of came up with the idea that you can do a lot with one. Yeah, Kristian, yes. So I'm sorry to break it to you.
Shh, don't tell Kristian.
But we came up with the.
We don't go outside anyway. We had no idea what was
enough.
going on. Lockdown. Oh. Okay.
So the theory that we have is that you can do a lot with one day, especially at the moment. So we have centered our theme around this theory, and so we're going to have a discussion about our favourite films that take place over the course of one day. So let's see what we've all got. Who would like to go first? Who would like to discuss this first?
I think you should go first, mate. You're the host.
Go on, host. Take away.
Bring us in.
Take
Bring
us
us in.
away.
Oh.
Take the lead.
Well, okay. Well,
I am insisting.
so the first film. Okay, Ben. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. So the first film that sprang to mind, it's a film that I've only relatively recently actually watched, and I very much enjoyed it because it's regarded as a bit of a classic, and it's a blip, one of those blips in my film knowledge that should be filled in, and so I decided to fill it in recently. And that film is Training Day.
Oh.
Which, as you
Nice.
can probably guess by the title, takes place over the course of one day, which is a training day. But it's not quite a training day. Have any of you guys seen it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
yes.
yeah. It is one of the ones that I have yet to see.
I was about to say, I'm sure this will shock you all. I have not seen this film.
What?
Mental.
If you've
Surely
seen
not.
all of Rick and Morty, you've seen some of Training Day. Because
Sweet.
there's the episode on the Rick Citadel where you follow the Ricks and Mortys. That's Training Day. One of
Right.
the cops, the two Rick and Morty cops. That's Training Day.
Yeah, so I'm
Give
not sure how
some
much I should give
context
away
to the
because
nerds
I
who
recommend
haven't
it to
watched
you
actual
guys, and I
films.
recommend it to anyone listening in. Ben, I think you froze again, mate.
He did,
So,
yeah.
Oh
so
no!
I'm not sure we heard what you said. It's all right.
Oh, I did a whole thing about Rick and Morty.
Oh wow.
It's fine. Like it'll be on your end. Your end. We just couldn't hear it.
It was
just
to
creates more work
you.
for James.
Oh, for God's
sorry,
sake!
Ben.
I'm not saying it again.
Make it work.
I think because
I'll hear it in the edit. It's fine.
James will work his edited magic and make you look funny and
so sorry.
likable.
It was a good. I put jokes
We'll
in.
add a
take
laugh
a lot.
track. We'll add a laugh track.
Threw in a joke. I made it. I made the film relatable to Kristian and James. It was a brilliant segue. God's sake.
Oh well.
Sorry, Ben. I don't want to apologise. It's not my fault. Sort your internet out.
It's all right, Ben. But yeah, what was I saying? I don't necessarily think I should spoil it
Yeah,
massively for you guys because I would recommend this film to you guys and to anyone else watching because it was a cracking movie. Basically, I'll give a very vague synopsis. So, Ethan Hawke plays the rookie cop. Well, he's not actually a rookie at this point. I think he's actually fairly experienced, but in comparison to what he's going into on this training day, he is fairly inexperienced. It's basically Ethan Hawke and Denzel Washington basically showing Ethan Hawke the ropes of this really shady kind of undercover kind of drugs police division.
Right.
And
Okay.
so Ethan Hawke's kind of quite, he does things by the book. He's quite, he's a good guy. He's not corrupt. He hates police corruption. And and he wants to do everything properly, whereas Denzel Washington, his character, is basically the complete opposite of that. And during the course of this film, over the course of the day that takes place in this film, you go more and more into this dark world of it's called Detective Alonzo, and you find out just how corrupt he is and how shady he is, and that's all I'm going to say about it for now, because saying anything else would probably spoil it. But I really enjoyed it. It really is a classic of that era of cinema. I think it was like, I have a feeling it was just towards the end of the 90s. It might have been 2000, 2001 that it was made, actually. Right. So it's kind of got that 90s vibe about it. Yeah. You'd like it, James, because every single scene is just plot driven and it's
nice.
Kind of
snappy,
it's got
get to the point, no wasting time. I love it.
It's got a great pace to it.
Okay.
And,
you'd like it as well, James, because it's written by David Ayer, who made your favourite film, Suicide Squad.
Yeah, man, love it. It's
everybody's favourite.
It came together so well and didn't feel like a mishmash of a load of crap at all.
So it's David Ayer as well. Yeah,
I'll definitely give that. How much does the whole being set in one day, how necessary is it? Like how big a factor does it actually play?
It's not. I mean, it's not a huge factor. You could definitely script this movie so that it took place over a longer period of time. But I think the whole,
I'd say it's pretty. It's the whole point.
Yeah.
Is Denzel Washington showing Ethan Hawke around for the day.
It's one day, and also it's like a really intense day. Like it's this intense kind of experience that's kind of unbroken by like the night and the passing of a day to another day, and like it's just one intense period of time where a lot of stuff happens, and the whole plot works within that kind of structure as well. It probably is much better for it for that fact.
Yeah.
I think it got Denzel the Oscar. I think
he did win the Oscar for it. Yeah, the Detective Alonzo is a great character, just completely psychopathic.
Famous quotes. There's that Training Day's got famous because it's since become like GIFs. So you might know the GIF, but I can't say it.
Okay.
No, I only asked how much
I
of
can't.
a factor the whole set in one day is because the film that I've picked Panic Room by David Fincher, because obviously the fact that it's all set over the course of technically 24 hours, not quite a full day, is very important to the whole drama and suspense of it. Because long story short, there's a mum and daughter move into a new house that has a panic room in it. Burglars break in the night, so they rush, lock themselves in the panic room. Burglars want what's in the panic room, so there's a stalemate of they don't want to come out because the burglars will get them, but the burglars aren't leaving until they get in. And then it's this whole drama of that, like it's the typical The Long Night kind of thing, and it all takes place then. So yeah, my film, I really enjoy that film. There's a lot. I like David Fincher. I think he's a really good director. He's got some really nice creative stuff in there. The tension's really good. I think there's a really good cast. Like I think Jared Leto and Forrest Whitaker.
Suicide Squad's own Jared Leto.
This is the only film I'm going to allow Jared Leto with. It's the only one that gets a pass because I think he works well as he's the scumbag who doesn't care at all, whereas Forrest Whitaker has this nice and sort of fatherly quality to him, and I think they work well together. Yeah,
I was going to say I'd argue a point for Jared Leto being good in Fight Club, but I don't know whether you've seen it.
American Psycho
I've seen
as
Fight
well,
Club.
but I didn't say anything.
I haven't seen American Psycho.
Oh yeah, American Psycho. Yeah.
I haven't seen
Psycho,
Dallas Buyers
definitely.
Club either. That he won. He also won the Oscar for. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
It makes me sad that Jared Leto's an Oscar-winning actor. Like,
No, I mean, like in fairness to him, like he has had some decent enough roles, you know. But yeah, when you consider there's been actors who haven't received an Oscar for a long time and for many roles that they probably should have done. One, Jake Gyllenhaal is the one that I can think of. I reckon he blows Jared Leto out of the water, especially in Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
He should have won an Oscar for that. Yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
I picked Panic Room just because I like it. I love it as a film anyway. I think it's criminally underrated. It doesn't get talked about very much, and I really like in general, that idea, like I said before, like the long night of you stay with these characters, you don't cut away, so you get a real sense of the prolonged dread and tension that they go through. It stretches it out into a nice tight 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen it in a while, you know. I remember really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of one like that for me, where I hadn't really heard about it before. I think at uni they showed us the long take, and obviously it uses CGI, but where it goes from the window that the criminals are first looking in, they then go around the back, but rather than cutting, it follows them and does a big sweeping shot like through the keyhole and finds them. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. It looks like something clever about this film. I'll give that a look, and I ended up really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's the standout kind of scene from that film, isn't it? That's the first thing I thought of when you mentioned Panic Room. It's that one shot, that one tracking shot, that kind of like, it's very, very Fincher-esque, isn't it? It's like the camera just tracking through the
very
whole
smooth.
Like set, and
It's cinematography and voyeurism 101 when you know, film studies students are concerned.
Yeah. Cool, Kristian. What was your pick?
Yeah, David Fincher. It's very camera focused, very shot focused, very smooth, and somebody who is very anti the opposite of that. I wonder is that Kristian's choice.
I thought you were just completely ignoring me then, Ben. I was like totally thrown. It's like, Ben.
Nah, I set my man up. I set him up, bro.
Well, I'm going to set myself up a bit more. You know, I could have brought this entire thing crumbling down. You know, I could have thrown in a jokey film, just completely derail everything. I could have mentioned The Cat in the Hat. I could have mentioned Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. I could have even mentioned Jingle All the Way. But
I was going to say that, but it's not technically one day.
Yeah, not technically.
Speaking. Not just. It's just. I was gutted when I checked.
But no, as my background might have given away to people who've seen the film, I want to talk about Clerks. Absolute 90s classic by Kevin Smith. You know, I know a lot of people who've seen this film. It's literally just the story of one mainly, but two sort of quick stop grocery store clerks. One works in the video store next door, and it's just about a day in their life working behind the counter.
Not doing any work.
Yeah, not doing what they're meant to. It's
relatable.
Yeah, you'd really like it, James. You know,
it's on my list to give a look at some point.
Yeah, it's got a very sort of loose plot because it is just like a sort of a day in the life movie rather than a plot central movie. But
it's more character driven.
Yeah, it's super quotable. It's got some great dialogue, just because everything feels like super over the top, eloquently written, but it's all eloquently written in sort of conversations that people would have. Like, I don't want to spoil any of the conversation, but there's a huge section of the film. Well, not a huge section, but there's an entire scene where they just spend the whole time talking about the Death Star 2 in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It might be
it's
like
a little sort of slice of life.
Yeah.
It's potentially the first real film to take the geek and the movie nerd and to portray him not as a parody or as a joke, and as quite real. Like, I could have, if Kevin Smith turned around and said, "Oh, the dialogue in this film is just a conversation I had with my friends," you go, "Yeah, probably," because it's just really well written and really naturalistic.
That sounds sick.
Yeah,
I mean,
the characters in the film. I know people who remind me of Dante Hicks. I know people who remind me of Randall Park. It's like, it's so telling of what it's like to work in retail.
Yeah, you can tell he actually did it. He actually
just
worked in the shop.
Some of the stuff the customers ask them over the film, it's like that. Kevin Smith has clearly been asked that before and has written this based on true events.
Yeah, and it was the start of Jay and Silent Bob as well. The icons.
Oh yeah,
still going strong today.
Yeah,
it's great, man. I wondered, Kristian, if you were going to say another Kevin Smith film took place over a day as well.
I was gonna say, I was just about to say, I could have also brought up Mallrats, the film that came just after Clerks, which is also a film, takes place over a day, and sort of cements Kevin Smith as this sort of super nerdy, sort of director who has super nerdy characters, and is more character driven than plot driven. Like, he writes really good characters around loose plots.
Yeah.
But
those two films especially kind of established him as like the cult nerd figurehead that people could prop him on and be like, oh, it's this guy made these for us. You know, in that time when before the geeks inherited the earth, kind of where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to go back and watch them. The conversations they have are great as well.
Yeah.
Shall I talk about my film?
Go on, Ben.
Oh yeah.
Why not?
If you must,
Because
mate.
I thought I'd go last, and I was sat here. Every time one of you spoke, I was like holding my fingers, like I hope they don't say it, because I believe I've picked the most famous quintessential over one day
I
film.
think I might know what you're going to pick.
I'm amazed nobody said it. I know Danny privately said he thinks he's going to guess what I said. But obviously I'm going to go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, that's not what I thought.
Okay.
Obviously it's the film for the day. It is. It's the most...
Yeah.
It's obviously Ferris Bueller. If you're talking about a film set over one day, this is the film. It's the one. It opens up with him waking up, you know, trying to get the parents out of the way, and then his day begins because he just how can you go to school on a day with weather like this on a day like today? You know, it's just great. You thought, I'm not going to go to school today. I'm going to have the best day ever and treat my friend and girlfriend to a glorious day out. We're going to get up to lots of fun, and it's great. Has anybody not seen it?
I have, but I watched it for the first time last year, maybe, and I wasn't a massive fan. I'll be honest. I can see why some people enjoyed it, but I think for me it's that kind of thing of like, if you watch it as a kid, you get that childhood wonder and enjoyment out of it. It's like, wow, that's so cool. Like the idea, I'd love to skip school, but as a man who's not been to school in years, I was like, okay, like, the idea of skipping school's not that exciting anymore. And I think my problem is he's not bad in it, but I will never buy Matthew Broderick as the cool guy that everyone looks up to. Like, oh my god, he's so awesome. No, he's not. He's Matthew Broderick. He's Inspector Gadget. Like,
Which is cool. He's cool.
just don't know.
Inspector
Well,
Gadget.
I mean, but he's not like the cool guy at school. I just didn't buy that from him, which I think was a bit of a shame. And it's good. It's got like some nice iconic scenes, and I think for me that's what I would argue, that it's more iconic than it is good. But I think John Hughes captures that age so perfectly in another film that happens to be set in one day, The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Like, that's another one that we don't need to fully discuss, or we can if we want to. But yeah, I just like, particularly having seen those two films, I'm like, he really understands how to write teenagers and like the school not school child, but like high school.
Yeah.
He captures that better than anyone else I've ever seen.
Yeah. Ben, did you watch it like when you were growing up, or have you watched it recently?
I was about like 16, 17 maybe. 17, 16.
Okay. So I suppose it kind of still had a little bit of that resonance of, I'm
Youth.
taking a cheeky day off school.
But,
yeah.
you know,
I could be Ferris Bueller.
I've gone back and watched it since, and James is wrong, you know. It's great.
Okay.
I don't think it's bad. This is my thing. I think it's there's maybe some nostalgia goggles that heighten how good it is.
We'll have to watch it in another show we might do.
Oh,
Yeah, it'd be a good
We'll
one
have to,
for. It would be a good one for Timeless
have
or
to give
Trash,
it a
actually.
watch and debate
Because-
and discuss.
yeah.
I haven't actually seen Ferris Bueller's
Oh
Day Off,
my
so
That would be
God.
very nice.
I've not seen it at all. So yeah. We'll see.
Interesting.
We'll see if it really is good, because it's my opinion is the correct
Yes,
one.
yes.
So whatever I
That is
decide.
true.
It's another one of those
Right.
films where, like, I don't know, like more than Clerks, it does have a plot, but it's more based on situations and characters. Like, at each sort of event that Ferris and his mate and girlfriend like get into
Cameron.
I haven't seen it since I think I
God.
think I watched it when I was 14, and I haven't seen it since then. So yeah, I only remember his name's Ferris because it's in the title. No,
Yeah,
but yeah,
interesting though.
it's like you could separate them, and they could all look like, you know, they. I'm stumbling over my own words here. I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm just saying, like, it's a series of events strung together that sort of epitomise the sort of wild 80s delusions and fantasies of that sort of like high school era.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go. It's not a spoiler. They go watch a baseball game and Ferris catches the ball.
Yeah.
The odds.
Yeah. It's that perfect day. Like if
It's
you could
the
bunk off
day.
and everything goes perfect.
Yeah.
It's like I actually read an article recently where someone had worked out how long the day would have had to have been for them to fit all of this in, and I'm pretty sure they said it must have been like, in conclusion, it must have been like a rare 27-hour day because there's physically no way they could have fit all this in with travel between areas.
Yeah,
and daylight
traffic.
savings. It happens. It's
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. Ferris would have found a way. He's great like that. He sorts you all out. He gets you out of summer school. He'll sort you out.
Yeah.
He's so cool he can actually bend space-time to his will
Yeah.
and change the amount of hours in a day.
He's going to give his
That's what we're
eyes to
dealing with here.
Stevie Wonder. He's going to...
Wait, what?
Yeah, you'll get the reference sometime,
You'll see.
Danny. Can I
Yeah.
quickly bring
okay.
up another film to put it out there so that people know
Go
about
for
it?
it.
Another film. I'm pretty sure it's set during one day. The
Mhm.
brilliant, fantastic film, The Raid, is set
Oh,
during one
Good pick.
day. One really bad, violent day.
Yeah.
That is, I think
Yeah,
it begins with the
good
main
bit.
character waking up. I think Rama's his name. Begins with him waking up and doing his morning workout, and then their plan is to him and the SWAT team going into this big flat block, this tall building, to go and get the drug like kingpin out of the go and get him out of there. And they all know martial arts, or some of them,
Of course.
like quite a lot of them at least anyway, know martial arts, or that they've all got guns and things like that, something like that as well. So it's really great. Indonesian film, amazing choreography, and the martial. I can't remember what the fighting style they use. I can't remember what it was called now, but it was brilliant. I watched it when I was about 15, and young kid into action movies, and you watch this, and I don't spoil things, but it's just like I just thought it was amazing. And yeah, that's one where it's like, what a bad day he kind of has has to go through.
We've all picked quite not, I don't. None of these are like indie films that no one's ever heard of, but like, I'll be honest. I thought at least someone else would pick some of the classics, like Breakfast Club, like we mentioned earlier. That's a very classic, so good film set in one day. Obviously, when this sort of stuff comes up, the first one that I think a lot of people go to, Die Hard, great film that's all set in one day.
Mm-hmm.
When you were saying, Ben, yours was a bit left field, and you weren't sure if people were going to get this. Here's one that I was kind of tempted to pick, but I wasn't sure if someone, Ben, might say, "Oh, that film doesn't count." Groundhog Day,
Well,
shit.
because
I
that
was
is
technically
kind of
counts.
all set in one day.
Yeah, I mean,
But
it's
it's
I
technically
wasn't
just
sure.
isn't
over
it?
again.
I would
Interesting one,
argue.
though.
Because he's like, isn't he there the equivalent of years? You could argue,
Yeah.
but
I
it is one
Yeah.
day.
So I mean, it's an iffy one. Good
Yeah,
film,
that's kind of like that does count. I'd say that does count because it's bending the rules very slightly, but you can't. I mean, it's literally called Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this
Not
day.
Groundhog Days.
Can I
Wow.
quickly
That's
throw out
six.
one Danny
Oh,
might have watched? I don't know if Kristian's
for
seen
it.
it. James hasn't seen it. It's just to talk about a film by Joel Schumacher that's actually like good, because he was a good director and he's just been bogged down by Batman. I'm pretty sure it's one day. Falling Down. Has anybody seen Falling Down?
Oh,
I haven't-
Yeah, I have seen.
I haven't
have
actually seen Falling Down.
So
many years ago.
It's Michael
Saw
Douglas,
it.
James, and he's just like it's like him in traffic at the start of his day, and he's just like a generic office worker, and he just has had enough, and it kind of just escalates from there. His stress, he might get a better weapon as he goes along the day to kind of who he meets and who he gets involved with. It kind of escalates and escalates.
I have seen the scene. Without giving too much away, I have seen the scene that you might be referring to, where with the pipe,
Is it
the
with
building site.
Yes, well, there's a few scenes like that. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a few memeable moments in there,
Yeah.
isn't there? One including a fast food
Yes. At the counter. Yeah.
place, fast food
Yeah.
restaurant.
I think especially because now, because we work for a living, it's a very relatable film.
Do we?
Well, we used to before 2020.
Yeah, before.
It's
Before.
quite a relatable film because everybody just kind of wants to do what he does, maybe, or has kind of had enough
That's
of people.
it, yeah.
And
It's definitely
yeah.
got that aspect to it.
I
hasn't
think
it?
Robert Duvall's in it as well, and it's like it's a Joel Schumacher film that's actually really great, and it's worth people's watch. It's a little recommendation.
Amazing.
If we've got a bit of time, there is one more classic that was it was my main contender with Clerks for which one I was going to bring voice crack for which one I was going to bring up.
Go on.
So
Hit us with it.
you know, I was like, I'll choose Clerks. 90s people have seen it, but Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, is that what? Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, Doctor Strangelove, or its full title, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Yeah.
I always forget what order the words go in, but yeah, absolutely amazing. Like, it's my favourite Stanley Kubrick film.
Might be mine too, I think.
By far. It's so ridiculously, like, it's... The basic premise is it's just like it started off as a drama, it sort of came off as a comedy, warning people about the sort of impact of nuclear weapons and sort of taking the mick out of the Cold War a bit, or a lot.
Yeah.
It has possibly one of my favourite film lines of all time. Of gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's got the
Speaking of
brilliant Peter Sellers in it and George C. Scott.
Yeah. So good.
Awesome.
Speaking of films that spawned absolutely classic quotes, one that I almost considered, because this is a film that I watched when I was quite young. It's old, but it's still so good and so funny. Airplane.
Is that one day?
It's
Airplane
technically
is
one day.
technically
yeah.
over one day.
And
Technically a few
it's
hours.
So good, man. Leslie Nielsen,
Yeah.
I think that was like one of his first sort of big things, right?
Well, I don't know.
think
He was like a serious actor. Like he was in Forbidden
Oh, was he?
Planet.
That's
Yeah, he was in
right.
Forbidden Planet.
You know him from his spoof.
Yeah, and then they put him in spoofs because he was, I think, known for being serious.
Yeah.
That's why he plays it straight, because he was a straight-laced actor.
Okay.
That's why they did it. He's playing against type, but it became his type.
Well, he's the king of spoof,
Yeah.
undeniably.
Right then, on to the last section of the podcast, which is the dessert section.
Oh, love
So-
dessert.
With it, don't we all? So for this, it's going to tie in a little bit to the previous discussion we've had about one day and what films are good, what films that take over the place of one day are good, but with a little bit of a twist. So this time around, we're going to discuss about what film worlds we would like to go into physically for one day. And the rules are that it's just you who goes into this film world. You don't take any of the special powers or whatever it may be that might be associated to this world. You just jump into that film and you get to spend a whole day in the presence of that environment, if you will. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
We all understand that.
Yeah.
I think I explained it.
Yeah, it's good.
So, who would like to go first in this section?
I'll go first because I want to make sure I get it.
Ben.
I don't want to take my answer.
Okay, Ben, take it away. Where would you like to go? What film would you like to start?
I don't know.
Brilliant.
Great
So,
start.
what's our next
Gonna-
start to this section?
I had a few.
I'll go first. I don't actually have anything.
I had a few, but I'll choose this one. I would like to go to the year 2015 in the film
Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yes. I would like to go to 2015 in Back to the Future Part 2, please. I'd like to go there for my day.
Interesting.
I'd like to have my hover car. I'd like to go on my hoverboard. I'd like to go watch all 19 Jawses. I'd like to take some shoes that have self-tying laces. Wear my jacket that is all size, fits all, size adjusting. That for me is a small person. A smaller man would be really great. It self-dries. Living in the UK, it would be really handy to have a drying jacket. And then I was watching clips of the film today. Like they've got like, instead of a key for your front door, it's a scanner on the door. And I was like, oh, that's great. I love
We're
that.
probably not that far away from that.
Yeah. And there's a bit where old man Biff pays for his taxi and he pays for it with his thumb. I was like, that's not far off. That's like 5 years away.
It's Uber.
Yeah, that's not too far off. It's like it's quite close to our world, but the novelty of checking out this, what did the 80s think was a fun future?
Yeah.
I would quite like to enjoy. Obviously, there's loads of other worlds I'd like to go to that I think other people might say. I don't know, but I thought it's a bit of a different one, just in case other people said stuff. I thought it'd be quite fun to go to and hang out, go to the Cafe 80s, all that stuff, and I think it'd be really fun. Just chill out.
I was also thinking Back to the Future, but not for the reason you were. Mine was, you got a time machine. So when you get to the end of the day, just go back to the start of the day and do it all again.
Oh,
so you're there for as long as you want. You can go to any time in history for as long as you want. Because, when you get to 23:59, just go back to the first minute of the day.
Wait.
You've not.
So
you're
Danny.
picking a
Cheated the
non-answer. You're cheating.
Your pick is the time machine because you can just go to any
You might as well
time in
pick,
history.
You might as well pick Doctor Who because then you've got all of space and time.
That's not a film.
It is a film. Doctor Who is a film. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Came out
Doctor Who.
in 1996.
Yeah, it's more of a TV show. Isn't
It is a film. Is it not a film?
It was
Is
a
it not?
film.
It is.
I
Yeah,
don't-
but not?
I don't
It's
know
not a
that
good
it's
film.
held in pretty high
Thank
regard
you.
by anyone.
Doesn't matter the quality. It's the world. You should have just said Doctor Who, mate.
Yeah, but
Give a real answer, James.
But you're in the world of the Doctor.
All right, we'll come back to me and I'll think of a real answer.
Let's come back to James.
Go on, Kristian.
Kristian.
See, I thought about this, and I wasn't sure. Like the one rule I wasn't sure on was, would I get dumped into this world randomly, or would I be able to choose where I get dumped, and then I can go wander from and explore from there?
Oh, as in, do you mean the geographically?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I took
let's say
that
you can
as-
just choose.
yeah.
We don't want to overcomplicate
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Let's say you can just choose where the hell.
Like
you wanna
in
go
my
that
mind,
world.
I went to Hill Valley, not
Yeah.
Manchester in their 2015.
Although that would be interesting.
Although
wouldn't it? That would be
Manchester in
interesting
a
different
world,
perspective.
England in that world would be quite interesting.
No one's got their tie-up trainers there. They automatically tie
The inside-out pants.
I was, I was
Yeah.
just, I'll put it out there. Someone's got to say it. I'm going to choose the boring answer of Star Wars, because
Yeah.
someone's got to do it.
Someone's gonna say. Yeah.
But I didn't want to choose Star Wars if I was just going to get dumped in the middle of a desert on a random planet and with no ship, no ability to fly, and just be like, right, well,
Just
I've just got to spend 24 hours wandering around now.
Running from a dragon.
Or just in the middle of the vacuum of space.
I was gonna say,
just
just
get
dropped
dropped
in the
straight
vacuum.
in and immediately asphyxiate.
Yeah.
Just dropped on Tatooine, and it's like, cool, I get to spend 24 hours as a moisture farmer. I get to do all those great things like drink blue milk, and nope, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So let me ask you, Kristian, what era of Star Wars and maybe what planet are you picking?
That's a good question.
Well, I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to go there during the height of one of the wars, because that would be very bad for me, who has no particular skills that would help me fight a war. So I wrote down Kashyyyk, Go to Kashyyyk
yes.
during a more peaceful era.
You're going
when the
home.
Wookiees aren't slaves. Exactly. Go home. Meet the long lost family. I was like, I'd love to hang out with the Wookiees. I wouldn't mind going to Endor. Mainly because after watching the films, I can go into this universe with the knowledge of what would make me a king of the Ewoks.
Be gold.
Yeah.
Be a golden robot.
Wait, they deemed him a king because Luke made him float, and they thought he was kingly because he could fly, didn't they?
No. They started worshipping as soon as he pops up. They were about to stab them all, and then C-3PO sits up, and they all go.
Oh yes, in the.
And then they.
I just outed
stop.
myself.
Yeah. Wow, fake fan.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No.
They start panicking and thinking that
That's
there's magic
true.
going on when Luke makes him fly.
They might eat you though, Kristian. They might eat you if you don't show your kingly powers.
That's very true. I do have no way of conversing with them, so maybe not Endor specifically, but I was leaning more towards Kashyyyk. Wookiees seem a bit more accepting. I don't have to be kingly to go hang out with them.
The Ewoks are a violent people.
Yeah, vicious.
They've got a nasty, vicious look in their eye. I think they'd probably see you and throw one of those grenades at you that they use in Battlefront 2.
They were going to eat them. They were going to eat humans. That
straight up, going to just straight away,
them.
no questions asked, cook them over a spit, cook them alive.
Yeah.
I mean,
clothes on as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the real problem you've got with it, Ben?
Well, because the meat would get tampered with.
They weren't even naked.
Yeah.
It's like eating a Quality Street with the wrapper on. It's just not
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Exactly. It'd
That's
be really
such a great comparison.
Yeah. Absolutely right. It's just wrong.
But Danny, our hostess with the mostest, we've still not heard from you.
Yeah, that's true. You have not heard from me yet. So what would I pick? Maybe it's a predictable pick for me. I don't know. But I would like to go back in time as well, but only 1 year.
just in general.
In fact, less than a year. It was more like, in fact, we're in November, aren't we? So it's back a year. It is back one year.
Yeah.
To November.
You're gonna go to
2019.
to Los Angeles, mate.
I'm gonna go to Los Angeles. November 2019. Not this world's version of 2019. Oh no. But the Blade Runner version of reality. I would go there. I think I'd probably go there and just wander about and basically just see what I could see. Try and just take in the vibe and just enjoy it all just for the day. Just walk about. I quite like walking around anyway. I quite like just walking about Manchester and just kind of people watching and, taking in the atmosphere. So I think that's what I'd do. I'd go to the Blade Runner universe and just walk around and see how cool it really is.
Better bring a coat.
Because for wearing a long
Sweet-ass
trench coat.
He's gonna
And
get
obviously
rained
I'd
on.
have... Yeah, there'd be a lot of rain. I'd take my brolly, obviously. One of those amazing... one of those light-up brollies that they have in Blade Runner. That, by the way, you can actually buy. You can buy those, with the brollies that the stem actually lights
The
up.
future
That's
is
pretty cool.
now. We are here.
Yeah.
Because I don't
think,
know.
yeah.
It's quite a grim place.
It is grim, yeah, but that's exactly why I go there.
You
No,
feel
I mean-
at home. I was wondering, Danny, if you were gonna say Star Trek.
No.
Just no.
No.
Just no.
Because really, where could I go in other than the Enterprise? I mean, that would be cool, but I don't think it'd be as cool as the Blade Runner universe.
Okay.
I would go to that little market store that does that ramen. I'd just hang out there. I'd just take in soak in the neon lights.
Yeah.
I'd just kind of
Go to the
observe.
weird strip club place.
No, absolutely not. That's what you do. So you be straight there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I have got a more real answer, if you'd like to hear it, Ben. I would like to spend 24 hours in the Spy Kids universe, specifically from the first film, in that safe house where they've just got all the gadgets, but more importantly, they've got all those like little packets that you pop in the microwave.
Oh my god!
Ding it, and then it just comes with a full McDonald's meal. I'm like, that's sick. Well, who wouldn't want that technology? So
They
that's
have
just
that
it,
in they have that in my universe. Just saying, she puts the pizza in the microwave and
yeah, it's
it's
not
instantly
McDonald's, though, is
done.
it? It's not McDonald's.
We have that. It was Pizza Hut. To be
Yeah,
fair,
it's
I bet they
Pizza
have
Hut.
instant
fair enough.
Mackies.
Yeah, man, I would just go for 24 hours to that little safe house, stock up and grab every packet they've got, take a couple jetpacks home with me. Be sick.
I mean,
I just spent 24 hours eating McDonald's.
Yeah,
in that scenario, like, you're turning up at the Spy Kids safe house at 24, robbing children and leaving.
I'm okay with it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not above robbing food
Because
from
then,
children.
That's
James,
fair enough.
when you get back to the house, you can actually go and watch Floop's Floogies. You can actually watch the show.
Exactly.
You go and watch the show and see what the deal is with all those poor agents that
I'd
have
have
been
to go
captured.
find Danny Trejo, hang out with him. It'd be great.
Oh yeah, in his shop. Yeah, yeah. Could I say the correct answer? Because I know we were like a film podcast, but James and Kristian will appreciate this. The right answer is Futurama.
Yes.
I mean,
That's the correct answer. That's the world you want
is
to go
true.
to.
I'm not going to pretend it didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, that's the correct answer. Just thought I'd say the travel, the
Danny,
ease
you
of
muted.
travel through the pipes.
I am muted. Shit. That's why you've been ignoring me.
You've
for the
been
past
swearing
5
your
minutes.
tits off, haven't you? Just like in anger. You're not muted, mate.
I've been saying some gold as well, basically, which amounted to basically me saying we've gone from Blade Runner, possibly the most influential cinematic universe, beautiful visuals, so much creativity and thought, and it's just amazing. To
Horror.
Spy Kids.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, why not?
Well, there's a Spy Kids trilogy. Where's the Blade Runner trilogy? Checkmate, Danny. Checkmate.
Oh,
There's
shit.
4 Spy Kids films.
I hereby resign
let's do it,
my
let's do it.
Oh, yeah,
position.
doesn't matter.
How the hell did I mute myself there? James, please work your editing magic. So
It's alright, I was going to say, it'll
I
record on your
look-
end. it's
don't
fine.
look so stupid.
So what? Were you happy with me
There's only so
saying
much I can do.
Futurama, Danny? Were you okay with that?
Yeah, that's what you may have seen me just gesticulating and trying
Yes.
to jump in, but being muted. No, I said, good pick, but would you have to be converted into some sort of cartoon to actually go? Would
Yeah.
that not be a painful process?
Nah.
So you would be a Ben cartoon
Yeah,
version.
be alright.
If you turned up as a fully fledged 3-dimensional human being, they might have something to say about
I
that.
imagine I'd turn cartoon. I'd be me, but an artistic's impression of what Ben looks like Nibbler. I look like Nibbler. That's what I kind of look like. For audio listeners, that's what I look like. It'd be so good. Futurama would be the best.
I think you might be right. That is the
It
correct
is
answer.
the
there.
answer.
I-
Thank you, guys. And on that note, see you later. I'm off.
Well then, yeah, I mean, I think.
Mic drop.
Well, guys, I think that brings us to the end of our podcast. Would you
Yeah, I
agree?
think so.
Yeah, I think that's a very
Yeah,
nice
I've had
place to
enough.
round
We've
it up,
covered
'cause we're not
some-
getting better than Futurama.
Yeah. Well, let's end on the high there.
Yeah, I had a couple others written down. They're not as good as Futurama, so.
Go on, chuck him in.
Oh, I
on
mean,
then.
the other one I had was, fairly safe answer, like Star Wars. Just say Lord of the Rings. I wanted to make sure before I said it that I wasn't just going to be dumped in somewhere random. I'd hate to just
Yeah.
pop up in an orc camp in the middle of Mordor and spend the
Yeah.
first 10 minutes being torn apart.
Yeah,
I
but you'd
agree.
spend a day surrounded by people who have no deodorant and pissing apart.
Yeah.
Like,
My family.
Yeah, we live in Manchester. Yeah, we.
They'd be like me.
Yeah, it'd be great. Can I say a quick couple as well? I know I just spoke a bit. I need to throw some more in.
Ben.
I got two more.
Go
'cause
on. Go
one
on,
of them
go
Danny
on.
will like, and the other one
No, okay.
Kristian and James will like. I would partly go to the Jingle All the Way world just to get the doll, just to get the Turbo Man figure.
but Ben, haven't you seen the film? It's not that easy.
I would find a way to get a copy because as a kid I always wanted one, and if I could take a guest, I'd take Danny, and me and Danny would go to the town of Twin Peaks, fire walk with me, and we'll go have some lovely cherry pie and some coffee. We'll hang out at the cafe together, Danny.
Oh my god, you sold me right there. Good lord, you got it back at the end there. You got it back. What can I say?
That's what I do, boys. That's what I do.
I'm up for that. I'm well up for that. Right, okay. So, I think that is the end now. We have ended the podcast, and I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's been real.
It's been real.
That was great. Thanks everyone
It's
for
been
listening. It was really good.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone else everyone else listening has enjoyed the podcast. If so, please subscribe to the channel and smash the like button and all that kind of stuff.
And all that jazz.
And yeah, we might have some more podcasts for you. I imagine
if
we
you
probably
hit
will.
that little
Stay
hit
tuned.
that little bell icon, you'll be alerted when there's new.
Hit that
Hit
bell
the bell.
icon.
Hit that bell icon. There's,
Hit the
you'll
bell.
be alerted to when there's new podcasts
Touch
and
the bell.
other videos.
Touch that bell. For sure. Yeah. And on that note,
Thanks everybody.
goodbye. Goodbye
Cheers.
from me,
Goodbye.
and goodbye from everyone else. See you later. Bye.